It was a Thursday afternoon that I got the phone call, and it changed everything. We need to do a biopsy, they said. And hearing that, I had just come off a 12-month cancer journey with my mother-in-law. My whole family had, so we were pretty much cancer fatigued. So to hear those those words, I just felt this crushing disconnection from everything that mattered to me. I felt like I had stepped outside of my life, my body, almost like I was a spectator watching everything. And I remember the next few days, I spiraled fast. But by Sunday afternoon, everything had shifted. And what I discovered may surprise you. You see, I found myself going down a really dark rabbit hole those few days. And especially what I was about to face, the fear gripped me. It was so overwhelming. And I started to feel like a victim. Like, why me? Why now? Why do I have to go through this? And I still remember I walked into church that Sunday so anxious, just almost didn't go. That's how bad I was feeling for myself. I almost didn't go to the one place I knew I needed to be because I felt so disconnected from the world around me. I felt so, I can't think of the word, but I just felt betrayed. I don't know if that's the right word, but that's how I felt. Like I felt like so much was against me. But then something happened. They started playing a song, which I had probably heard, who knows, 100 times before then, but I had never listened to the words. Like my ears were never open to listen to the words as I did that Sunday. And it's called The Goodness of God. And if you've never heard the song, I highly suggest go out to YouTube and listen to it, listen to the words. It really hit me that day. And it's about how his mercy never fails. It never fails us. Now, he's been faithful all our lives. And in hearing that song and hearing those words, almost like for the first time, it was like he was speaking directly to me, whispering to me. And I remember lifting my hands, which I did often when we would praise. But I remember saying to myself, I hear you, God. I hear you. And I cannot explain it in words, but the fear started trickling off my back. Because you know what I realized? I realized in that moment, I remembered he had never left me. Not through my childhood trauma. He had never left me, during the time that I had to put my daughter up for adoption as a teenager. He did not leave me during my 5 miscarriages. He did not leave me during my divorce. And the list goes on. He was there. He was there through it all. And how do I know? Because I got through everything. I got through everything with grace. And I came out stronger on the other side. And I have turned all that pain into an amazing purpose. That's how I know. And here, I guess, is what hit me. I thought I was disconnected from the world. I thought I was disconnected from myself. But the truth is, I was disconnected from my source. And from that point on, like I said, I had no fear, none at all. When I went through the surgeries, when I went through the treatments after the fact, I just knew. I knew I'd be okay. But let me pause here for a minute, because maybe you're watching and you're like, okay, Lori, I don't know if I've ever felt disconnected. What do you mean by that? Help me identify it. So this is what I feel for me, and it could be different from you, but this is what I feel disconnection is. It feels like anxiety, for sure, that has a grip on you so tight that it won't let go. And it's like you're going through the motions, but nothing feels meaningful. You have this restless feeling like you can't just stop. You're constantly scrolling. You're constantly looking for a better message. Obviously, getting that type of diagnosis, I went down the rabbit hole of looking to see what it meant, looking to see what the treatments were. And this is all just during, excuse me, when I got the message that they needed to do the biopsy. So when I actually got the phone call that they had detected breast cancer, it just did not impact me the way maybe it should have. Because at that point, I knew God's grace was with me and I would get through this. I would be able to walk this. Have you ever felt lonely even when you're surrounded by people? Or maybe feeling like you're living somebody else's life instead of your own? Or maybe you wake up in the morning with that underlying dread, or you just feel emotionally numb, like you're just surviving. Well, if that sounds familiar, then that's disconnection. And I think we've all been there, right? I think at some point in our lives, we've all done this. And you would think, especially with social media, right? You would think that we would have this connection with others with social media. And I do think social media is a double-edged sword. I do think it does a lot of good, but I also think it does a lot of harm. But that's a rabbit hole for another day. But sometimes I think the reason we feel really disconnected, and it's not just because we have a busy life. We all go through busy seasons. But it's because we become disconnected from our divine source, from what really matters. We're not tuned into our soul. We're not listening. We don't ever shut off the noise. And, especially with all the world problems going on, the politics, the crime, the economy. And all those things create, if we allow it, it creates this fear in us that separates us from what really matters. And I do believe this. Jesus wants to talk to all of us, not just some of us, not just, me or the next one. He wants to talk to all of us. He wants to be in a relationship with all of us. We just don't slow down long enough to listen. We won't turn down the noise of our lives. And, I think we allow ourselves, okay, so maybe I'll just speak for me. I don't want to speak for anybody. But I believe we at times get caught up in the social media and the propaganda that's out there and the comparison rabbit holes and the scarcity mindset. And I think when we're disconnected like that, we forget that we have the power to change our circle, to change our frequency. We can change our entire life through prayer and connection with Him. And again, how do I know? Because I've done it. That's how I know. I've done it. And I truly believe that when people feel disconnected, well, let me back up. I think people feel disconnected because we focus on the wrong things sometimes. And instead of spending time out in nature or having quiet conversations with Jesus, instead of surrounding ourselves with like-minded people who encourage us, we're consuming content that makes us fearful and isolated. We go down those rabbit holes, and I think I've said rabbit hole maybe 4 or 5 times. So I'm going to try not to say it anymore. But I think traveling down those thoughts, it makes us feel fearful and isolated. So I guess this is what I want you to know. You have the power to change this. You can shift your frequency. I have talked about that before. You can change your circle. You can reconnect with what matters most. You have that power. And I guess let me leave you with 3 things you could do right now, today, to start reconnecting if you feel any of those things, or if you just don't feel right. First of all, you know what I'm going to say. Well, turn off the noise, even if it's just for an hour. Turn off the noise, turn off the TV, no scrolling. Put your phone in another room so you don't hear the little, beeps. Somebody's trying to reach you. Turn off the news. That's my big one, is I've got to turn off the news. And go sit out in nature. Get outside. Walk barefoot if you can. But get outside, turn your face to the sun, and just sit in the stillness. And even if you live in a city, go out in your backyard. Go to a park. And if you can't do either one of those because the weather doesn't permit or something, I know there's plenty of channels on YouTube that take you through nature. Escaping the Suburbs is one of them. My daughter also has a hiking channel where she takes you on hikes with her, Court in the Wild. There's lots of channels out there that experience nature through somebody else's eyes. I guess you use social media for a positive. But if you can get outside in nature, that's so much better. And then, while you're out there, talk to Jesus. He's sitting right there with you. Talk to Him. He wants to hear from you. And then second, write down, I guess, 2 to 3 things that God has been faithful to you through, that He has seen you through. We've all been through things. We've all had our own hills to climb. There isn't anybody that has escaped that. So think about it. And how do you know God helped you through it? Because you got through it. You got through it. And probably you got through it with grace. So just like I remembered my childhood trauma and teenage pregnancy and everything, just remember what you've gotten through and remember His faithfulness. And once you do that, once you acknowledge that he's there and that he will see you through this, you kind of, fear kind of loses its grip. It loses its power. It can't have power on you when you acknowledge it and let it go. Let it roll off your back. Let it roll off your back. Third, reach out to somebody who encourages you, who encourages your soul. There's somebody, I'm sure, in your life that when you're around them, you just feel good in their presence. They don't even have to say anything. It's because they're vibrating at such a high energy. Get yourself around those people. Your soul needs that. And not someone who feeds the drama or feeds your fear, but someone who reminds you of who you really are. And, we all need those voices in our lives, right? I think that's so important. Was it Atomic Habits that talked about you really need to surround yourself with the five most influential people in your life is who you'll become like? I think that's it. But the thing is, sometimes it can be hard. It could be a hard journey to go if you have to do it alone, especially if the colleagues in your workplace are negative, or just sometimes people in your own family are negative. My family growing up was extremely negative. To this day, some of my family is still extremely negative. And I know it can be difficult because I've been there. So I feel everybody needs companionship. Everybody needs a community to support each other. It just makes the journey so much easier if you have somebody else to lean on, that you have somebody else to talk through things with. So that is why I am going to start a community for people like us, people who want to turn down the noise and reconnect with their soul, with their purpose, with Jesus. I don't know what I'll call it yet. Probably something like Lori's Soul Circle Community. I don't know. That's just came off the top of my head. But I think it's important. And especially coming off the last couple of weeks here in the States, it's been heavy for my family for a lot of reasons. And I'm not going to get into it, but we all need community. We all need that camaraderie with each other. So I think this is going to be important. And I don't have all the details yet. We'll probably meet twice a month. But also, I will be sending out a weekly newsletter. So if you do sign up for the community, which will be completely free, I am not going to charge for this community. It's too important. But I will also be sending out a weekly newsletter with just practical steps. I'll probably take the newsletter that I currently have out on my Substack, and I'll share that with my community. And I just want to help everybody turn down the noise in life and build a community of like-minded people who can support one another. So if you're feeling that disconnection, if you're ready to maybe stop drowning in this world of chaos and problems and connect with your divine source, then I want you in this community. I really do. I'll put the link in the description. And please remember, it's completely free. I just believe everybody deserves and needs a place to belong. And I want my community to be that for you. And, if this message resonated with you at all, subscribe to the channel. It doesn't take anything to hit the subscribe button or the like button. I am also going to start going live and start sharing things that way. There's a lot of things that I cannot change in this world. And I have had to do a lot of digging these last couple of weeks in my soul. And this is going to be my way of changing the frequency of the world. So if you're ready for that, please join me. Because this will be about what matters most. And I would love to have you on this journey with me. So put in the comments, what's one thing that makes you feel disconnected? Maybe what's one thing that has helped you reconnect? Share it in the comments so other people can get ideas. I'd love to hear it. And you know what? Let's just start turning down that noise together. I think it's time. I think it's time that we start realizing that there's more that connects us than disconnects us. And I look forward to going on this journey with you. And until next time, take care of yourself.